my name is Shawn Stromdahl. I'm a lieutenant with North Collier Fire Department at this time. I was born in northwestern Pennsylvania, a town called Warren, and we moved here when I was very young. I graduated from Baron Collier High School in 1986, and for me, the path to the fire service was never something I actually even thought about doing. I had worked for the Ritz-Carlton Hotel Company for many years, and there I met several firefighters from North Collier Fire Department. Kind of became interested in that way. Heard a lot of talk about the fire service, what a great department it was to be with at the time, and the path was kind of set from there. Went to fire school, and here I am today. Well, I started my career with North Collier Fire Department. It was North Naples Fire Department at the time, in 2000, about April 24th actually. At the time I was a firefighter, spent about 7 years as a firefighter, and then was promoted to driver engineer. Drove trucks for about 9 years. And soon after that, in 2016, I came over to the Bureau of Fire Prevention, where I am today. So I do work for Division of Life Safety, and we primarily do new construction, permitting, and notice of fire compliances for new businesses and existing buildings. We do the fire inspections, which are done approximately once every 1 year or 3 years, depending on how they're classified. So my primary role day to day is to do inspections on existing buildings. For that, I'm really looking at life safety systems and what's in place. Whether it be concerned with the extinguishers, safety lighting, emergency lighting, penetrations in building. We also look at how the sprinkler systems are set up, if they're tagged and they're inspected properly. We look for any damage to the building or the systems themselves, and we want to make sure that the building is actually safe for life safety for anyone that's in the building. So day to day when I go into a building, my role is to make sure that as I walk through a building, I walk through basically as an occupant of the building. I make sure the exit signs are lighted properly. I want to see that the emergency lighting will come on in case of a power failure. I look at the ceilings. I want to make sure ceiling tiles are in place so they're all part of a rated lid, or they're part of the safety of the building itself. I want to make sure that there's no holes in the walls that might allow gases or fire to travel throughout a building. I look for breaker panels, make sure they're intact, they're tagged properly, and you also want to make sure that the exit signs. If you're in a building and if you're in a building and you go through a building and you need to egress the building in case of an emergency, you don't want the exits to be blocked. You want to be able to stand up where you're at and walk freely out of a building. So I look at it as if I'm an occupant in the building, and am I safe? Do I feel comfortable in that building? But any system that's put in place, we want to make sure that it's repaired or working properly at any given time. So for my inspections day to day, I will go to really anything that the public would go to or live in. We do multifamily housing, such as apartment complexes, high-rise condominiums, movie theaters, gas stations, fitness centers, restaurants. Really any place that you may be comes up on my inspection schedule. They're done at different times, however they are done primarily the same way. You always want to go through with a system and a process of how you want to do it. And it's all done, whether it's a small facility or a 23-story condo in Bay Colony, it's done the same. So prior to coming to the fire service, one thing I didn't realize is that besides being on a fire truck as a firefighter, there's several different divisions and facets of a fire service. You always hear of high-angle rescue, technical rescue, boat teams, dive teams, but a lot of people don't ever think about the life safety division. And there's an old adage, which is a running joke, that someone says, a life safety inspector, fire inspector will save more lives in one day than a fire will in their whole career. And there's probably some truth to that, because what we do is we not only provide the inspections for the buildings, but we also want to make sure that we have proper ingress and egress for the operations guys when they come to a building. I want to make sure that if my guys in the fire truck show up at that building, that they can get into the building, they can do the job they need, and they can get out of the building safely if need be. So there's a whole facet to what we do, and it's not just going to make sure a light is working or a system is working. We're really there to protect everybody. And unfortunately, we don't always know that the different divisions exist. Most people just think of going to work for the fire department or being a firefighter, that you're on a fire truck. Even as a young kid, you don't know there's different divisions. You don't know there's anything more beyond that. And it's a pretty interesting place to be when you start to break it all down and see what's available to you, someone as a career. So coming to work for North Collier Fire Department, I've been here approximately 23 years. My time is actually coming to an end. I can retire in a very short time. It's been a great career for me. I have a lot of freedom, get to do a lot of things. I've been fortunate to bounce around enough that I've driven ladder trucks to working on beach patrol, been able to work in this division now, and in this division, you know, people don't realize the freedom you do have. You're extremely busy, there's always something happening, there's always someone always has a problem, but at the end of the day, you get to accomplish things that you may not really think you're going to see or do. So it's been a worthwhile career. I don't know if I could have had a different career path or something more interesting. This just happens to be what I chose. Again, haphazardly, it wasn't planned as a little kid. So I am looking forward to retirement shortly. You know, I have a granddaughter at home, and it'll be nice to spend more time with my family and my granddaughter. She keeps me not young. She makes me feel older every day, but it'll be a great thing to be able to have a lot more free time and do the things I want to do with them.